DM and the player got into an argument. They couldn't decide what's the the precise way to say Artificer. Is it Artificer? Is it Artificer? They got into a big fight, destroyed the gaming table, so session's canceled until they get a new one. So I am back from Norway. Happy Leif Erikson Day. Hinger dinger doing.
Hated here. That was one of the wildest cold opens I think we've ever.
It definitely wasn't. That's a lie, but
No, it was like, here's the thing. It went from like, okay, pretty typical Matt to okay, we've lost the plot.
Already.
Oh my
also,
God.
I like how you say you're back from Norway as if you did go to like 5 different fucking countries.
True. I did spend about half the time in Norway though, so.
Yeah, but like,
I
you
visited
also
a
went
lot
to
of
several
countries.
other, in Europe where you could do something like that in a short span of time.
I have quickly learned throughout my travels that the other countries in Europe are just bigger states.
Correct.
And America is very confusing afterwards.
Correct. Yes, I have said, look, I have actually said this many, many times. I get really annoyed when I hear European people online give American shit about like not traveling and not having passports and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, motherfuckers, I don't think you understand. You can go 4 countries in a day. I can't even go 2 states in a day.
Yeah.
Like, this shit big. It costs me as much money to go from one end of my country to the other that would cost you to fly over like 15 countries.
Yeah, I think in one day we drove from Hungary straight through Austria to get to Munich.
Yeah, you could literally, you could go through like 5 countries in a day by car. Like, but America's thick.
Is too, what was the one thing the House actor said? America is too big to know itself.
Yeah, literally.
Each state is its own fucking universe, its own country.
That's why people in the South be up there like, them goddamn Yankees fucking taking our guns and our rights. That's where all that shit comes from. And then the weirdos over on the West Coast that nobody likes to talk to, but we have to deal with them. So, whatever. Anyway.
I don't know why, as soon as you said the South, I just got the Vin Diesel, like, you can't turn your back on family. Just fucking
yeah, I don't know. Like, I've literally heard people like make a post online or say something in a video, be like, Americans don't have passports? That's weird. And it's like, well, yeah, because we can't. Why would we have a passport? There's nowhere to go.
Although traveling in between the countries, there was no real like checkpoints. You could just go.
Well, yeah, that's because of the European Union and all that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt's back.
Hey guys, how's it been? I haven't caught up on the episodes. I've listened to like bits and pieces. All I could say is that I disagreed with Josh 100% about the XP episode, and Isaiah, it's gonna be okay.
You didn't listen to that. Shut up.
What the fuck do you mean it's gonna be okay?
You didn't listen to that.
Oh, you mean my trauma episode?
Trauma episode? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. I mean, I Mick fucking guess. There's a big doubt there, homeboy, but alright.
Don't lie to me, Matt.
You know what's funny? Actually, if you do watch it, Matt, I feel like you will agree with Josh more than you think.
No, I did. Well, that's the thing, because now I'm actually thinking, because of Baldur's Gate, I want to implement the inspiration rules from Baldur's Gate, because it sounds cool.
But inspiration rules are just inspiration.
Yeah, but I meant like, I want my players to come up with like, 1 or 2 things that if another character does, that ties into their like, personalities or whatever, any of their traits, they'll get an inspiration.
It's not how it works in Baldur's Gate. Did we play the same Baldur's Gate, Matt?
The fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about? The way it works in Baldur's Gate is you have various triggers based on your character's background, and if something happens in the story, you get a point of inspiration. It has nothing to do with any other
but it was also
characters.
like if something like no, there's also triggers from other characters. Like if you cast the fly spell on Karlak, you get inspiration because her whole thing is about freedom, and she likes flying.
Okay, well that's
One of the
that's an
triggers.
oddly specific one, but also that has nothing to do with experience points.
But you just said in general, just shit from Baldur's Gate. I want to steal from and put into my game.
But that wasn't what I was talking about in that episode.
Anywho's, and so today, guys, we're going to talk about.
That's literally not what I was talking about. You can't just anywho's it. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about experience points.
The damage is done.
What are you Matt? Matt.
Yeah.
How do you always do this? How do you always take one tiny tangential part of a statement I make and then extrapolate the completely wrong information and miss my point by so many miles? How do you do this every time?
It's the art of misdirect, Josh. Just like this. Where can people follow us?
I didn't even say the word inspiration. I didn't even bring up inspiration in that entire episode. How did you? I don't understand. I don't. Like, I understand that Baldur's Gate 3 is the connecting tie, but that's nothing else I said had anything to do with it. This is a legitimate
Josh,
question.
where can they find us on the internet?
You can't just keep doing this to me.
I can. And I
Also,
will.
they know where they can find us, Matt, because if they're listening to this, they've already found us. So that's an asinine statement. But what they can do is hit the follow or subscribe button.
My
On whatever
man.
they're currently listening.
My man.
You've now started me off annoyed.
What can I say except you're welcome? It's been a good 5
7
weeks. I
minutes
haven't.
in, and you've already tilted Josh. How did you do that so fast?
I'm saving it up.
It's such a talent he has. It's such a skill. I don't understand.
But if you guys were listening a good 7 minutes ago when this fucking episode started, we're gonna do another handbook episode. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Oh my god.
We're gonna do it on not one of the normal classes. No, we're doing it on the special class, the 13th class of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.
I don't like you implying that Artificer isn't a normal class, like it's some sort of weird, ugly stepchild.
I mean, I wasn't implying it was the
It's not ugly, but it
stepchild.
is a stepchild.
I mean, yeah,
Kinda.
it's
I
a
guess.
stepchild, yeah.
I don't know. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, the Artificer or Artificer or Artificer.
Artificer,
no,
get the
we
fuck
do
out of
no.
here.
We do not say Artificer in this fucking house.
We don't
What are
say
we,
absolutely
heathens?
not.
No one can
Artificer.
agree on how to pronounce this fucking subclass.
Okay.
Jeremy,
I say Artificer.
I feel like this is simple. The noun, right, is artifice. A work
Yeah.
of artifice. Not artifice, not artifice. It's artifice.
Yep.
Right? So
Yeah.
the proper noun would be artificer.
Pretty sure Jeremy Crawford says Artificer.
Yeah, he's playing
Even
an
if he-
Artificer.
Even if he doesn't, like above the writers of D&D, there is the English fucking language.
Yes, but Isaiah, could I not use that same argument about how you pronounce GIF?
No, because technically the guy, like, not only did the guy
Oh
say
my God.
GIF, but also it's like a not real word. There is no root for it. There's
But
no
it
like.
starts with a real word, which is the word graphics. The word isn't graphics. It's graphics. Graphics interface format. What GIF stands for. Saying.
Yeah, but also giraffe starts with a G as well. So like, meh.
Which makes a G sound. You don't what?
Giraffe, GIF. You don't say giraffe, do you? Are you
All
that
right.
animal?
All right. You know what? The next time I pull out some peanut butter, all right. Make sure I have myself some GIF peanut butter.
Good.
Fuck.
I hope you do.
Yeah. So what do you guys overall thoughts on the Artificer?
It has a
You
stupid
want to start
name.
off, Matt?
It has a stupid name. Is my thoughts.
How dare you, sir?
Sure. I mean, I generally like the class. I want to try it out, but they're like most of the classes, there's some parts I'm kind of on, but there's a lot of good shit. There's a lot of cool things this class does, and kind of like what you guys have been kind of harping on a while. I do want another class to come out at some point, like a new class, not just a subclass, or at least I would like more Artificer subclasses to come out, because like we only have 4.
Yeah, they said Artificer. No, only 4. That's all you get, bitches. Bye.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm surprised we haven't gotten another one. And with the new books coming out next year, they're not going to be in there. They're not putting the Artificer in there. So it's like, what the fuck? How long?
Because I feel like WotC was like held at gunpoint to put the Artificer in the game at all. So now that they've done it, they just like to pretend like it doesn't exist and they didn't put it in the game because someone must have threatened somebody's life to get it in there in the first place, and they were just really reluctant to do so. Like, I don't understand why they hate this class so much, but they do.
My personal crackhead theory is they've put it in the game so many times as quote unquote official that they're like, no, we're done. I don't want to have to type the words arcane tinkering one more fucking time. And if I do, I'm killing everyone and then myself.
But couldn't you use that argument for every class?
Yes. Yes, asterisk. I don't think any other class has had as many official reprints as Artificer has
Only
in
four?
5e.
There's only been 2.
They've only had, yeah. They added in Eberron, Rising of the Last
Eberron,
War,
and then Tasha.
And Tasha's. So that's why I was like, I just want a new subclass. Like, mainly, I for Artificer, I want a new subclass for that just to come out at some point. Maybe like 2 would be really fucking nice. And then I'll shut up. Then I'll be like, all right, I'm done. Like, I got 5.
I think they just don't want to design for weird magical engineer class. Like, somebody at Wizards has it in their head that Artificer doesn't fit what they think D&D is, and they've just put their foot down on that, and they added it so reluctantly. And now that they've done it, they're like, that's it. I did my job. You're getting nothing else, and you're going to like it.
Yeah, because it's not even in, after the OGL stuff, when they released the new SRD. Yeah, it's not in there.
I know.
Still.
Yep.
Because it's their own, like, it's such a weird thing, because, it's their own, they own it. They own the idea of Artificer. They own, that. But I guess, like, they don't fully own the idea of a barbarian or a wizard or a sorcerer, question mark?
They can't, so.
Right, yeah, so.
All the other classes are generic and or based on something else in real life. So they literally can't. Right. You can't copyright fighter. You could try. You could be Games Workshop and you could try, but it won't work.
But it will not work.
You could try and copyright the word Warhammer. Good luck.
You're a dipshit if you try.
I think they just don't want to deal. Like, they put it in the game to appease people, and now they just don't want to deal with it. They're done. That's it. Like, I genuinely think that's what it is. They just do not. Somebody feels like it doesn't belong, and so they just don't want to bother because weird Magitech engineer doesn't fit the vibe or whatever, because there ain't no artificers in Lord of the Rings, like.
It's because I don't know if I mentioned, like, I'm not the biggest fan of sci-fi. Like, I love Eberron as a setting because it's like that. It's a good mix. It's half and half.
Artificer
of, like, there's enough.
Artificer isn't sci-fi.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. You can. I've seen, but people have played Artificers as sci-fi. But I think, like, it's such a good mix of, like, magic and tech that doesn't creep fully into sci-fi and it doesn't fully creep into fantasy. It's a good mixture.
Here's the thing. If you read the Artificer section and read how they're, like, sales pitched, there's literally no tech at all. Literally everything they're doing is magic. They just, instead of using a magic wand, they just use magic, like, items. But
they use tinker tools.
Everything, but, like, everything they're doing is magic. Nothing they do is, like, the meme is LOL Artificer builds gun, but they don't actually build a gun. Right? Like
Much to my chagrin.
they literally
the
don't.
artillerist does.
No, they don't though, because they conjure a magical firearm, which is like it could just be a magic crossbow
Yeah, but they even
or
describe
a
in
magic
the whole
wand that shoots bullets, like not bullets, but like magical bolts. Like
yeah,
that's why in Eberron they're arcane firearms, right? Like they actually don't make any technology.
right.
Nothing they do, like, unless you consider the weird magical items that already exist in D&D as technology, then they don't make any technology. They just use
Well, there is
magical
actual
bullshit.
magic technology in D&D, so it's not like
Yeah, there's weird shit
Although
like the whatever.
the-
Actually,
Walsh.
the
well, in
Battlesmith
Eberron-
does actually make a robot.
I would say Battlesmith makes a robot, and in Eberron there is like high tech stuff like trains.
Eberron, there is,
everything
yes,
runs
but not
on
Forgotten
magic.
Realms.
Not in Forgotten Realms. Although they even say now, I think they even said it in the Eberron book, but in Tasha's they say there's an island and there's artificers all over fucking the Forgotten Realms now. And it's like, of course there are now.
Well, that's
Fuckers.
Forgotten Realms is just, you know, the setting of Forgotten Realms is just everything juice. It's Forgotten Realms is the jungle juice of fantasy settings. So,
Yeah.
unsurprising. Although, you know, actually, side note, let me just.
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms is pretty wacky woohoo. Absolutely. The world of Pathfinder, however, takes it to a whole nother level.
Oh, have you been reading Pathfinder lore?
I haven't been reading Pathfinder lore, but I do know there are space aliens with laser guns in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And that's not Starfield?
No, Pathfinder.
Or not Starfield. Fuck, what's the...
I knew what you meant.
Starfinder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Pathfinder. Pathfinder has aliens with laser guns.
Sure.
Yeah. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Although I guess you could make the argument that Illithid are just, you know, aliens also. And Githyanki are aliens.
They
So,
are,
like,
but
whatever.
again, they feel, more Cthulhu fantasy than, like, sci-fi fantasy, like...
Except for that part where Cthulhu mythos is pretty sci-fi. You know.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
saying.
Yeah.
It's
But then
almost
there's,
like the lines are blurry.
A little bit. Well, then there's like, because the new MCDM, I say new, it's been out for like a month. The MCDM book came out, and their versions of Mind Flayers, for me, are way too like sci-fi. And I'm like, I don't like it. But then again,
it's kind of hard to escape. Like, 5e has sci-fi, right? Like it
does.
Forgotten Realms is part of the Planescape, which, you know, this Spelljammer, which has like weird Magitech floating ships, and like the Gith are actual space aliens and
Space
the fucking
Viking pirates, yeah.
Yeah, the Mind Flayers are from another like hell, like, you know, other world dimension where they have actual technology, and you know, it is sort of hard to avoid at some point.
Mm.
But Matt, what would you give them in terms of a grade?
And a grade. For me, I gave the class a 4 out of 5. I think it has so much cool things like not the the infusions. I think the infusions are like my favorite part of the class.
They're pretty good.
Like just because like everyone loves the warlock invocation. Everyone does. It's such a good, unique class feature, and it's like, well, what if we just did it with a twist? And it's like, what if invocations but magic items? And it's like, yes, this will work. Perfect.
Well, not all of them are magic.
No, I thought most of them dealt with like specifically items or making like an effect, like what's the shield, the deflector shield, right? That's one of them.
The repulsor shield.
Repulsor shield, yeah. So you're making some sort of like item, not entirely magical, but you're making an item. It does a magical effect. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all I'm saying is they're not all strictly items.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. No, I love the idea of this class. Again, is a class of like magical item makery and crafting. You can attune to more items the more you level up with the class. It's easier for you to make magic items with the class, and just like, again, It has I actually really like the capstone ability, where it's like, by this level, I have so many I can attune to 5 fucking magic items. My saving throws are
6.
Or 6. Oh, you can tune to 6. So, yeah, 20. Yep, my bad. Yeah, you tune to 6 at level 20. I get a +1 for all 6 of my fucking items. Like at that point, you're ultra tank. You're a space marine.
You don't necessarily get a +1 for all your items. You only get a +1 for things that require attunements, but
yeah,
more or less.
But yeah, we'll just attune the 5 things.
Well, not all of the infusions necessarily require attunement.
Right, but it doesn't have to be an infusion. It just has to be a magic item. You can attune to up to 5 magic items at once.
I understand. Point is, you can have it's not a guaranteed 6. And that's all I'm saying.
Incorrect.
No, I'm not incorrect. I'm literally stating a fact. I was just looking at this fucking
level
rule
20.
on Sunday last week. Because a certain someone got to level 20 in my game last week.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have so much fun.
But I guess what would you give the Artificer?
I hate
if you had to
for
number
saying
it
like that, but yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 4 as well. I mean, I really, really like Armorer. Armorer is awesome, and I, for the most part, like Artillerist. But like literally, let me rephrase. Battlesmith is like, it's all right. It's not really what I want. I wanted I have a mech familiar, which it kind of is, but it's got a bunch of other shit in it that I couldn't care about less. I couldn't care less about. And then literally for the Alchemist? Like
me. I want Alchemist to be good.
Same. I
it's
really
not,
love
but
the
I want
idea
it
of
to
the
be.
Alchemist, but it's
that's
not
exactly
good.
what I mean. Like
It's-
literally
yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of lost the kids and the dog in the divorce, because not only did I lose Mechanist in OG Artificer, I also lost the actual gunsmith.
Oh, the thunder cannon.
With the thunder cannon, yeah.
I was literally called the gunsmith, yeah.
My beloved. Like
my beloved.
Bro, so fucking good.
The thunder cannon.
Wizards finally technically brought it back, sort of.
Sort of. We don't know what it does yet, but if it doesn't have crazy damage scaling at higher levels, then I don't fucking want
it's
it.
out.
Well,
I could look it up.
Yeah, it's basically, it lets you cast Sunbeam once a day for free, DC 17. It has 3 barrels, so you can shoot, I think, 3 times with it.
That's
Not
it?
exactly a thunder cannon, but it's shoots lightning and sunbeams.
Yeah, but that's not something. But here's the problem. Here's the issue. That's not something that you could. To give anyone listening context who's not a super nerd that looks at every fucking book like we do, in Bigby's Glory of the Giants, which is the new giant book that just came out, they added a gun magic item that's like a giant's blunderbuss, I think, is what it's called. And yeah, that's what we're talking about. But it's the problem is that a weapon like that, you can't make that your primary weapon, right? Like, if you want your character shtick to be I have gun, you can't use that magic item because it's limited. It's a magic item. It's essentially a wand of fireballs. Can't make it your whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you get to cast Sunbeam. It's like, yeah, but I want to be able to use it for like regular attacks and shit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find, what is that thing even called? That
I
think it's it's the thunder something.
the thunder or something? Trying to find. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little difficult finding out in 5e tools.
Minstrel's Man Longbow.
Oh, uncheck Renaissance.
Thunderbuss,
item.
yeah.
Yeah, because fucking they separate the guns from
Underbus. Interesting.
Oh yeah, no, it just does a flat.
Oh, it's a pistol. Oh, you can use it like a normal.
can you?
gun. Yeah, it's a pistol. It's one of the pistols from the DMG. Okay,
Neat.
well that's a little bit better. Loading, ammo, range. Yeah, okay. As a bonus action, you can invoke the weapon's rune to launch a ball of energy at a point you can see within 30 feet. The energy detonates in a 10-foot radius sphere. The turbulent wind and thunder centered on the point, and each creature in the sphere makes a DC 14 con save. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d6 thunder damage and can't take any reactions until the end of your next turn. On a successful save, they take half as much. Once the rune is evoked, can't be evoked again until the next dawn, because of course you're only allowed to do the fun thing ever once in D&D 5e.
Yeah. Lucia Destroyer. Yeah.
It's up to you to decide whether the character has proficiency in firearms. Character in most D&D worlds. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's also strange because like this book and
that doesn't look like a pistol.
This book and Fizban's both had guns.
Yeah.
And the Fizban's one was like the Topaz Destroyer or Annihilator or something, and it basically let you cast. I don't remember if it was like Finger of Death or something. Once per day, but there was like a +3 gun. It shot Topaz Dragon Scales out. Fucking sick.
Interesting. Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna be real. This thing just kind of like.
It's okay.
Is it worth it?
It's not the Thunder Cannon.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah.
OG Thunder Cannon started at 3d6 damage.
Well, OG Thunder Cannon was OP. Like, let's not pretend like it wasn't.
No, it was fucking broken. Shit.
It definitely needed some tuning, but
it was overpowered. However, you can only fire it once per round unless you're me, and then you put a bunch of levels in the fighter.
Well, the problem. Well, you can only fire it once per round. The problem that Wizards seems to have with a lot of this is the thing about guns, right? So if we're getting into the whole like using a gun in your game,
right?
The way the guns should work is that the guns should be stronger and do more damage than anything else, but they have to have a drawback, right? Yeah. Like that's why the misfire exists, right? Because that's, you know, for the Matt Mercer thing. But here's the problem. Even Matt Mercer did the same thing. He didn't make the guns do any more damage than normal. Like a longbow and the fucking like repeater pistol or whatever that Percy had did the same damage. Or maybe it was the bad news did the same. One of the weapons did like the same damage as a longbow.
The bad news did 2d12. That was hilarious.
Bad news was pretty
okay, that one did what? One of them did like the same damage basically. So it's like you're kind of, you know, it's not on D. Oh no, it still is.
I mean, so the cool thing about the Matt Mercer weapons is they had ridiculous range on them.
Yeah.
They outranged everything by like a country mile.
Yeah, okay, so a pistol does a D10, which is the same as a bow. Which, you know, it's like, all right, so then why am I bothering? It's like, you know, if because the pistol can misfire, so if the pistol can misfire, then it should do more damage because there's a chance something bad happens. You know, it's like you gotta measure the risk reward, and Wizards seems to be missing out on that. And one of the main problems with the Thunder Cannon is there was no risk reward. It was just the best option. Like, in general, end of discussion, you know? It's like, there's a way to go about it, but I don't understand why nobody seems to be, you know, like if the Thunder Cannon does 3d6, then it's like, it misfires if you roll like a 3 or below, you know? And what happens when it misfires? You have to take a turn fixing it. It's like, okay, now you have to sacrifice an entire turn for a thing because you're taking the risk reward. That's just a really quick off the dome. Like, there's might be other ways to do it, but you know, you get my point.
Yeah.
Or reloading it takes a little while or some shit. You know, like there's fucking... I don't know, this whole thing gets me annoyed. There's ways to go about it. But yes, the Thunder Cannon, as it was OP, but there was potential there, and they just sort of... I don't even think... I was going to say they gave up. I don't even think they gave up. I think they neglected... They didn't put it in the game for the same reason that I think they're not doing a lot of stuff with Artificer in general, which is they're like afraid of the magic engineer fantasy character. They don't feel like it fits. So they didn't want to give they're like, all right, we're already pushing the boundaries of what D&D is by putting the Artificer in the game. We're not also going to give him a sniper rifle because that's just too ridiculous. You know, like I honestly think that's what their thinking is.
It's so strange too because Jawcraw fucking plays an Artificer in Activision's Incorporated.
Well, then it might not be him who has the problem with it.
Like this might be a wild statement, but like I'm sort of in the park that like, oh, some people are like, oh, guns, flintlocks and guns don't belong in my D&D, and to which that I just go, I don't, fuck them. Like, who gives a shit about what they think? Like, they lose nothing by not letting it be a thing, right? If you really don't want guns to exist in your setting, just don't put them in the setting.
Well, I think a lot of people also have a little bit of a weird misunderstanding about the whole
guns in history thing. Yeah.
Well, guns in history, yes, absolutely. Like, I mean, a lot of people thought it was weird that there was a gun in Assassin's Creed 2, but if you look into it, it's actually not that weird. Because a gun is just a cannon, but in your hand, right? It's not that, and everybody accepts cannons in D&D on ships.
Well, that's the thing. In Eberron, there's no, like, at least from Rising of the Last War, there was no firearms, but there was black powder, and they made these things called arcane cannons.
Which are giant
fucking, which are basically guns, but instead they're powered by magic and they blast like different elements. Yeah. So the cannon can shoot a fireball or an ice beam or whatever the fuck.
I mean, sure, whatever. All my point is if you have cannons, then the logical progression to guns is not that big of a jump. That's literally all there is to it.
Yeah. But real quick, if you're somebody, if you're the dimma dipshit that's like, guns don't belong in my 14th century. Guns have been around since the 10th century in China when they were like actual tiny cannons on a stick.
Yeah, they were tubes.
Yeah. Handheld versions were around roughly in the 3rd century, which is still 100 years before your typical D&D fantasy setting. So like,
yeah,
I don't know, quit your bitching.
But irregardless of all that, I think the reason a lot of people are resistant to the guns in D&D thing, and by extension the Artificer in D&D, even though again, as we've already stated, the Artificer is really not about guns anyway. Like even the subclass that's the gun subclass isn't really that much about a gun. It even specifically says that your arcane firearm thing can be like a walking turret. So like, not a gun you hold. But anyway, the reason people are resistant to it is because people don't want cowboys in their D&D. But I don't think that's what people are asking for.
No.
This is the problem.
As one of those guys, me, that's not what I'm asking for. I want a Bloodborne Hunter, please.
Right, I'm asking for cowboys in my D&D, okay, so I also understand the break.
This is the difference.
But I understand it depends on the setting.
Isaiah wants to play a Bloodborne Hunter. That's not a cowboy. Right? The Bloodborne Hunter has a gun that they occasionally shoot once in a while, and then they whip out the big sawtooth cleaver, right? The Bloodborne Hunter is not twirling 6-shooters and ricocheting bullets off the wall and doing trick shots. That's the thing a lot of people don't want in their D&D, right? They don't want the cowboy thing where you like quick draw and shoot the gun, the sword out of the fucking hobgoblin's hand, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people aren't asking for that. What people are asking for, it's not even really about the gun. I think what a lot of people want to play is the engineer inventor character.
Yeah.
That or like, the Victorian rapier slinging pistol shooting fucking like Zorro type.
Right, but even the Zorro type is like, I occasionally fire this gun, but like not most of the time, right? Because it takes forever to reload in that example, right? So it's
well, like even like if you have like simple like a pepper box, which are actually pretty old. Most people don't know that. Like, so what if you have 6 shots? You're like, it's if it is your primary mode of fire, there is like a serious hindrance to it. Like, you're not, rocking a Glock on people. You're not putting 16 rounds into it and then walking away with a quick reload. It's like, oh, cool, you got 6 rounds that you just fired. All right, now take your whole turn to reload.
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, I think a lot of the time the fantasy is very much to me, let's put it this way. when I want the guy who uses a gun as his primary weapon, like the reason a character like Percy in Critical Role is appealing is not because Percy has a gun, it's because Percy's a gunsmith.
It's because Percy's a Bloodborne hunter.
Yeah, because Percy's a Bloodborne. He makes cool shit and then uses the cool shit. That's the important part. That's the thing that people want in their D&D. That's what people want the Artificer to be. It's not about I have a gun. It's about I make stuff. And one of the things I make is a gun. But that's not really the whole fantasy of the class. The fantasy of the class is I'm the inventor dude.
Yeah, because it's not even like...
And that fits fine.
Like, yeah, because like in like old D&D, you know, you had enchanters. And I don't know if they were their own subclasses, but enchanters, not the like, I mess with your mind and all that shit, but like the, I make magic items and I make magic shit. Yeah,
enchant magic items. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what even fucking Matt Mercer got confused in campaign 2.
I'm sure
the Furbolg NPC guy. They were in a combat encounter and he's like reading the stat blocks of the enchanter and he's just like, the fuck? This has nothing to do with making magic items.
Yeah. And he's like, wait, this is all charming abilities. I can't do anything with this.
I mean, yeah, because
the funniest fucking thing.
Really, so the class really should be called the Craftsman. That's really what the class should be in a lot of ways. You know? Like, and then by extension, if you want to play your Zorro pistol whipping Victorian guy, okay, you have a gun and a rapier. So what does that player want to do? They want to slice the Z into your chest and then maybe cap you in the knees with the glicky once every couple of rounds or something, you know? Like, again, in that scenario, it's not really about the gun, it's about the vibe that kind of character has.
Yeah, you want to hit him with the gold pick and stick.
Yeah. Now, if you're playing Deadlands, yeah, okay, yes, then obviously you want to do the cowboy thing with the gunslinging and the whoo and the twirls and the bouncing it off the wall. Right, obviously. Totally different vibe.
You want to do the Ocelot Commander.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what people want in D&D. And it's funny because I remember watching one time, Matt Colville put out a video where he was like, how would you do a gunslinger in D&D? And he came at it from just the completely wrong angle, in my opinion, because he was like, oh, there's no example of like a fantasy gunslinger. So I think what people want to play is a cowboy. And then he was like coming up with hypothetical mechanics for how you would make a cowboy class. And I'm like, no, I really don't think that's what most people want in their D&D game. They're not trying to be the cowboy. That's not, that ain't the vibe. I'm sure there's some people, but I was
gonna say, I want to play the cowboy wizard, the gun wizard, just for memes.
But then, okay, but Matt, if you're playing the gun wizard, you're playing a wizard who uses a gun. That's still not really the cowboy.
My
like cowboy, right? Your bullets are magic, which isn't a cowboy. Like the cowboy is a very specific vibe. You know what I mean? Like, like cowboy is a very cowboy. If it was a class, would be entirely its own thing. It'd be its own class. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's
Percy's thing. It's like a gunsmith versus gunslinger. It's like I can't make them.
Right.
I don't know how they work, but fuck, I can shoot them.
Right. Yeah, a gunsmith and a gunslinger. In the same way that if you're playing Cyberpunk, your Razor Girl is not. She didn't make her fucking pistols. She just uses them.
Right.
Sorry. What do we say these days? Your street samurai is more common than.
Your street kid.
No. You're what do they call them in Cyberpunk? You're Solo in Cyberpunk.
Solo. Edge runner.
I use the oldest possible. Razor Girl is from Neuromancer, from Sally Shears, the original like street samurai character who's the badass that kills people because the hacker doesn't know how to fight character. Like Razor Girl is the oldest term I could have used. Fun fact, she was called a Razor Girl because she had razor blades under her fingernails. And that's where that comes from. She had an augmentation she had like claws, basically. So yeah. Razor Girl in Neuromancer, Street Samurai in Shadowrun, Solo in Cyberpunk. Your upfront person who does all the violence and the shooting. They're not making the guns. That's what I'm getting at here. So the Artificer is the gunsmith. That's what people want it to be. all in all, that this is saying is Artificer gets a 3 from me because of all these things I'm saying.
All right. Fair.
Artificer gets a 3 from me because I want Artificer, like, what I want Artificer to be. Like, I don't think Artificer's bad. It's just not the thing I want, but I'm also not going to get the thing I want. You know what I mean? Because I want what Percy's character was as a whole class. And I don't really want the magic part. I want you to actually invent things, you know?
Well, that's what they say, and that there's the whole section of what is it? Hold on, I gotta actually find it where it's like magic as
but that's not.
No, where is it? Oh, magic of Artificer.
Yeah,
Artificer.
I know, and it's like, oh, you describe
cure
it as you
wounds
use
with alchemist
items.
supplies or poison spray with whatever.
I don't. Yeah, but that's like not like. I want the game that's just flavory stuff. Like, I want the game to really like support the inventor fantasy. The Artificer always has this twinge of like, it's magical items. It's like you're using a potion, but a potion's a magical item. You know what I mean? You're using a weird device to like cast lesser restoration, but it's like you're using a defibrillator to cast lesser restoration, but it's like a magical defibrillator. It's like, yeah, but no, I actually want to. I want to play Leonardo da Vinci in D&D. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
minus some of his, shortcomings. That's what I'm trying to get. Artificer gets a 3, and Alchemist should be better.
It should be, dude.
Alchemist is a disappointment.
But it won't be.
It won't be.
It won't be. Yeah.
God.
Like, I like the idea of the potion, I
love the idea of the fantasy alchemist. It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I do like the potion, the experimental elixir you get, and it's like, yeah, you make this elixir, you're not sure if it's gonna be like great all the time. But,
okay.
Or you don't know you can't. I think you determine the effect once, and then every other time you use it, it's random. I think that's fucking funny. That's so.
So
cool.
here's my thing. Here's my problem with this. I like the experimental elixir sort of as a base, but let's get into Josh's design shop here for a minute. How would we make this better? It doesn't change from level 3. It never changes. Not once.
No, I wish there was more.
The list doesn't get bigger. You can't modify. You can't choose. It doesn't change. How can you do this to me? If that's going to be in the same way that, you know how everybody always sucks off the rogue?
Yeah.
Let's suck off the rogue a little bit more. In the same way that when you play different rogue subclasses, it fucks with how sneak attack works and modifies it.
Yeah.
Why does this, if this is the level 3 ability, the experimental elixir, it should change as you get higher level. There should be more to it.
Yeah,
you should have other stuff involved with it.
Because I'm looking at this and it's like, yeah, as you get higher levels, you get
some HP back.
You get HP back. You can cast lesser and greater restoration, and then you get you're resistant to poison and acid damage.
Yeah, the greater and lesser resto thing has nothing to do with the experimental elixir.
No, and heal.
And then
without expending a spell slot, which is nice, but also, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then the other ability is like when the creature drinks your experimental elixir, they get temp HP, which is like, okay, fine. That modifies it a little bit, but it doesn't add to the chaos or anything. And then it's like resistance, and then you can cast greater resto and heal without spell slots. What does that have to do with it? And then, then that's it. Yeah. Huh? It's like every single one of the abilities that comes from your subclass on the alchemist should modify the experimental elixir ability.
But instead, it's just like, here, be the healer.
Here's some other crap. Yeah, be a healer.
Yeah.
Here's some other crap.
Yeah.
And what it should do is you should get 2 abilities, right? One ribbon ability, like the poison resistance, is fine. But then another ability that affects how experimental elixir works that makes it better.
Yeah, and not just the temp HP thing.
Yeah, it should all feed back into that ability because that's their cool showcase ability. In the same way that the artillerist, all the abilities should feed back into the fucking gun, which I think they do. Right? Yeah. Eldritch Cannon, Arcane Fire, Explosive Kid. Yeah. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they did it for the artillerist. Oh my god, I hate everything.
And they did it for the armor.
Yeah. And they did, and armor is the same thing. Every ability the armorer gets feeds back into your suit of armor. What the fuck, dude? I just...
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why you get a 3.
I can't say anything because my favorite subclass is the artillerist.
Yeah.
No, listen, in far as I want my favorite subclass of the Artificer to be... I want it to be Alchemist,
But it's not good.
but it's Armorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to be
buddy.
Alchemist, but it's Armorer. Because Iron Man cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And Battlesmith isn't bad, but Battlesmith is sort of plain? Or not plain. Battlesmith is the most straightforward. You know? Because it's the sort of rangery
It's
Artificer.
the Ranger Paladin, like,
Yeah, it's the most straightforward,
weird
which is fine.
mix.
I'm fine with that. Doesn't make it my favorite, but it's not bad either. Like, I'll play a Battlesmith if I have a cool idea, no problem.
Well, there was the meme when it came out. Everyone's like, "Oh, look, another class
Another
that's
reason
better
to
than
not play it,
Ranger."
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's another better Beastmaster.
Oh, by
Everyone's
the
like,
way,
thanks, Wizards. I hate it.
By the way, guess what? All the subclass abilities that the Battlesmith gets makes your pet better.
Yep.
They enhance your Steel Defender. How did you drop the ball on Alchemist so bad?
I want to read the Pathfinder Alchemist and just see like what the fuck
It's
they
pretty
do
cool.
correct. Yeah,
I read the 2E one a little bit. It's pretty cool.
yeah, because I think you can also make like bombs in Pathfinder.
You can, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want in D&D. That's what I want for the an inventor character. I want to be able to make bombs. I want to be able to make elixirs. I want to be able to make basic firearms. I want to be able to make like.
I mean, to be fair, I
want to be able
the
to
Artificer, ignoring the magic, the magic bit, you can with all the tool proficiencies, and then later on you get expertise in like anything that revolves a tool. Using the Xanathar guide rules, you could do
can
a lot
a little
of fucking
bit.
crazy shit.
Here's the problem with that, Matt. The crafting rules in 5e suck. And are all over the place. If the crafting...
I don't think they're bad.
They're not amazing.
They're not great.
They're
seen so
They're
many...
not. No, they're not great. But
I've
like,
seen
I
so
don't
many
think
games
they're
do them
bad.
better. Just better, and I've seen so many games do it better and more streamlined than 5e.
Even with the Xanathar rules?
Yes. Yes, because the Xanathar rules have the opposite problem where they're so vague and open-ended that they like don't get used, and then also people forget about them, but that's like a different...
Wait, what the fuck? I strictly use the Xanathar rules for magic item making.
Oh yeah, if you're crafting a magic item, I thought you were talking about the tool proficiency things that they give you
the
like a
tool
list of like
proficiency.
weird...
That too. Sorry,
That's what
no,
because you were talking about tool proficiencies. I'm not talking about...
Sorry, yeah.
See, this is...
both.
all right.
Sorry.
This is not... That's
well,
not...
some of my players have been using them because we keep bringing it up.
I mean, yeah, you could
yeah.
force them into your game. You could go out of your way to like be like, I'm going to use this. But that's not even what I'm talking about. See, you're talking about crafting magic items. That's not what I want. I want an inventor character who can whip up shit on the fly, be like, oh, I want to play MacGyver, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Like,
Oh, you want to play Rocket Raccoon?
or sure, yeah, or Rocket. Right. That's what I'm getting at. Is like, I want to be able to be like, oh, we need, I can whip up a potion on the fly. I can whip up a rudimentary bomb. Oh, we need this weird item to like bust the door down. I can whip it. Like, I want to be able to whip shit up on the fly. And Artificer could do that if the crafting rules of 5e supported that kind of thing, but they don't. Right? The crafting rules only really help you out when it's like long-term, like, okay, I'm making a magic sword. That's going to take me several weeks. 5e's like, okay, here's what you can go, here's how you can go about it. But like Stars Without Number has a rule that you can literally just like jury rig items on the fly. And Sam's character in Stars Without Number, that was his whole shtick. There were multiple times where they were like, hey Sam, we need a bomb. And he's like, I got you, fam. And he would just pull out random, and he literally had I forget what they call points of junk, basically, like junk to make stuff with. Like he had like a tool bag essentially. And in the same way that rations are kind of handled, he had, let's say he had 5 points worth of like tech equipment to make something. And Sam would go, I want to create a bomb that's going to blow out the structure, like the facade of this building. Okay, use up 3 of your like tech equipment points and then make a roll. And then he would like whip it up. Like that's the kind of shit I want to do in 5e. But 5e has no rules for it. And like, yeah, of course. And can I do it myself? Yeah, I could go about it. But
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I also want if the game supports me for it, it makes things a lot easier and smoother, you know? And also if I'm playing in a game and I want to do the inventor thing and those rules don't really exist, then I have to be like, hey GM, what can we do to like make this work? And then we got to have the back and forth and maybe the GM doesn't want to do it. You know, it's like it's all these added layers of friction. As opposed to when we were playing Stars Without Number and Sam was like, I want to do that. And the game went, here you go, fam.
All right. Well, then you brought up an interesting point.
Yes.
Because you said you want to be, you know, Rocket Raccoon or MacGyver.
Yeah.
What is your quintessential artificer, my friend?
Neither of those characters, but those are good choices. So, okay. I have to caveat this, right? Not caveat. Caveat makes it seem like I have to explain a little bit.
Yeah.
If the Artificer was the inventor character that I'm talking about, then a Rocket Raccoon would be a very good option, I think. However, specifically looking at Artificer as it is in D&D, looking at the sort of magical, you know, the magic item bent that Artificer has, that changes my answer to Edward Elric. Because Edward Elric.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hanano Renkin Juskashi, Full Metal Alchemist.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure.
I did not think you were going to go there. I like that a lot. That's good.
Yeah.
Ed hits, I think, in terms of the 5e Artificer and how it's portrayed, I think Ed hits basically every point. Give or take a couple. You know? Like, does Ed modify any of his equipment? Yeah, like not 100%, but like kinda, you know, like he does put the blade arm on the fucking automail, for example, right? That's the classic Ed maneuver, is slap out the sword arm, you know? So, yeah. He doesn't necessarily make his own, like, magic items, but he does summon a bunch of shit. I mean, he summons the spear in the first 2 episodes, you know, so, yeah. My boy Edward Elric.
Okay.
Everyone
I
go
still
watch
gotta watch Brotherhood.
You mother... I was literally
I
just
know.
about to say, if you haven't watched Full Metal Alchemist, go watch Full Metal Alchemist. God,
Yeah,
He's just Matt is just the Giga Company group. He just refuses to watch FMA.
I want. The worst part is I want to watch it. I just never like
just gotta
have
sit.
the energy
Matt,
to
you just
set
gotta
up
pick a
time to
day
do
and
it.
commit. Just pick a day and go. Because
I
once,
did watch.
because
I am
once
caught
you
up with Jujutsu Kaisen.
once you start,
That last
once-
episode was nuts.
once you start, Full Metal Alchemist, you're in. Like, it's only gonna take you like 3 episodes, and you're gonna be in.
Okay.
Slight caveat. The first like 2 episodes of Brotherhood are kind of crappy because they had to come up with a new intro to the show. So the first 2-ish episodes are weird. So Brotherhood takes slightly longer to get rolling, but like slightly. Very
That's fine. Yeah. No, I know. I know it's good. I'm just
It's amazing.
procrastinating on it.
It's like one of best anime of all time material.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, Isaiah, who is your quintessential artificer?
Okay. Do you want the answer or the wild answer?
Well, you know, let's. I want the wild answer. Let's go.
You want the wild answer first?
Hell yeah, dude.
So the wild answer, my quintessential artificer is Kevin Flynn from Tron.
I don't even know who that is.
I'm sorry. I feel like
It's Jeff Bridges' character in the Tron series. He is the user, as they speak about him, like kind of basically the god of the grid, which is the cybernetic digital world that Tron takes place in. I say that Flynn is an artificer because he very specific, like he does have damn near godlike control over the grid as we know it, but he does need like toolkits and access points to do it. So he can't just, for example, like, he can't just be like, oh, it's daytime in the grid, and then he just snaps his fingers. No, he like has to integrate with or create a terminal and start fucking with things, and he needs like access codes and shit to do it. And more specifically, if he wants to interface with a program, a being in the grid, he needs their identity disk, which is the weird like chakram blade thing that they throw. And he has a lot of like, can turn off the lights, can create fucking... He's kind of like Ed with a digital vibe to him. So I guess maybe my wacky answer is not really the wacky answer, hilariously enough. It just has a like techno spin on it.
You're saying I have the wacky answer?
I think your answer and my wackier answer are mixed, which is interesting.
Okay.
What was gonna be your normal
My
answer?
actual answer is Constance Amelie von Brunschbank Albrechtsberger from Little Witch Academia.
That's another one I gotta watch.
No idea who that is, and I have never watched that show.
Constance is one of these students in like the side team. They're like the class fucking 2A from My Hero. They're the characters you arguably care about more than the main cast, but don't get any of the screen time. And you know, in Little Witch Academia, they all have their own way of like interfacing with magic. So like Akko she has plot armor. The other secondary main character, Lotte, uses mushrooms and poisons and like potions.
I just looked this character up.
Yeah,
I just see a picture of him with an MP5.
Yeah. So I have a GIF for it. There you go.
Oh my god.
No, it didn't load the way I wanted to. Yeah. So there's a bit in the second special where they get into like a magic fight with kids from another school, and everyone's like slinging spells at each other and like saying magic words. And Constance in the background pulls like a little box out of her hat that she's been working on for like the last 2 episodes. Yeah, that. And opens it up into an MP5, loads her wand in, racks the Glack, and just starts opening fire.
Oh my god, amazing.
They're all like, I think they're all like 16 to 17. So she's just unloaded an MP5 on a bunch of high schoolers. Yeah. That's in the actual show where they accidentally break into her lab and they're like, "Hey, Constance, how you doing, buddy?" And she just pulls out an actual gun.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I think this is basically a flawless choice.
Yeah. See, I was like, I have one really good answer and one kind of wacky one.
I mean, this is literally just what an artificer is.
Yeah, it's just Constance. She is my favorite character in Little Witch Academia behind the Poison Girl Susie. And I'm actually thinking of rewatching this show because I love this character so much.
What the fuck?
She also, it gets better. She doesn't speak. Like she's not mute because they know she speaks. She just doesn't speak to the group. And she's always a background character insofar as she is in the background doing shit. You'll just see her in other shots tinkering with something, and there's one bit where it's like it cuts to her like working on a box, and it cuts away, and then it cuts back to her, and it's like the box exploded in her face. She's got like soot all over herself. And you're like, "Oh, Constance, oh buddy, are you okay?"
I fucking can't.
I love her so much. By the way, this is her actual name.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna try to say that.
Amelie von, oh my god.
Yeah, Constance Amelie von Braunschbank Albrechtsberger.
Jesus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna top that one, Matt.
No, mine's gonna be pretty vanilla here.
And pretty obvious. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, what do you think I'm gonna say?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. I usually go comic books, but I don't think this time I'm gonna go comic book. I'm not going with the obvious fucking. Yeah.
The obvious Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go with the obvious one. I'm gonna go with my new favorite at the moment. Currently, I'm gonna go with Jace from Arcane.
Ooh.
Magic inventor guy sees magic, goes, I want to do that, and basically it combines magic and technology, creates portals, weapons, like fucking, it's cool. I literally want to, like, when I run my Eberron game in the future, I'm literally just gonna take all the shit from Arcane and just slap it in there because it's
That's
such
fair.
a good, cool
Jace,
world.
Like, you're not okay.
The Arcane version, not
Yeah, no, that's what I was.
I don't know anything about the
that's what I was
official
about to
League
say.
version.
League Jace is slightly coloring my thought here. So yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, he has always been an inventor dude. That's always been his thing.
Yeah,
But his old lore. Well, okay, so I don't know. His old lore, if I'm remembering correctly, he was a little bit more of a superhero.
yeah.
But
Kind of why they had the drawing in the show and everything.
But Arcane may be leading to him getting there eventually.
Yeah,
So, you know, the sort of backstory fill in might make sense in that case. But yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't know if in League originally, I don't remember if he built his hammer himself or not.
I have no idea.
Don't know. But yeah, he's sort of a Jace is a cheater because he has two subclasses. He's both an artillerist and a battlesmith.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a cheater, but yeah.
Look, he just asked really hard his DM to let him use some of the machinist stuff from early Artificer.
Something like that, yeah.
He wants his own Dodie.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Jace makes sense. I think that's a valid one.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a little annoyed that I didn't think of Jace. I remember when Jace fucking came out in League, like when he was the newest champion.
Yeah, what
What a
same.
time. He was like the wildest champion because of his form switching thing. That was the first time they ever did anything like that.
I remember so many of my friends just trying to figure out how he worked.
Yeah, my one friend
Like,
literally played
Taking
him
forever.
day one and just played for fucking hours one weekend.
Yep. Yeah. But I do have, as I
Victor
always...
also kind of an artificer.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Yeah.
I think Victor counts.
Yeah. I don't know too much about him, like in the League side, other than like he's some sort of like weird.
He does the same thing Jace
cleric
does.
Now. Oh, okay.
No, he does the same thing.
He just has a degenerative immune nervous system disease.
Victor is an Adeptus Mechanicus tech priest, is what he is.
Yeah. He was like, well, my body's falling apart. The flesh is weak.
The flesh is weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise the Omnissiah.
Yeah.
And plays fucking Children of the Omnissiah in the background.
Yeah. That's literally Victor's whole shtick. But like, he makes all of his shit, and he can like, I think he can also like mind control machines or something like that.
I think so.
But yeah,
didn't he also make Blitzcrank?
Maybe
Which-
I don't
Did he
remember.
make Blitzcrank? I don't actually
I
know.
think so. I think I read that because that's why they're like,
Don't
people
know.
are like, yeah, Blitzcrank's going to be in season 2. I'm like, my boy, my big yellow boy.
Blitzcrank's gonna be a weird addition to that one.
Yeah, season 2 is going to be fucking crazy.
Very excited to see Warwick and Singed. But anyway,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Singed, Warwick.
so who are your second?
So I have, again, I always get the list as I do. Some funny ones. Obviously, again, Tony Stark, yeah, sure, okay.
He was the first one I thought of.
Very obvious, everyone. Another comic book character that's, a little weird, but Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I've heard people say
He's
that.
just an ice-based artificer.
Yeah, he just has a weird thing about cold.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
really obsessed with freezer burn on his balls.
Another comic book guy, Dr. Doom. Literally, like, studied magic like a giant nerd, and then was like, bunch of technology and science.
He literally a gypsy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I fucking hate Dr. Doom.
I also was looking up. A lot of people just said Percy from Critical Role.
Yeah. I mean,
A lot of people were just like, yeah, he's just Artificer. It's like, all right.
It's funny. I wonder. I remember watching Critical Role and thinking that. I'm like, if Artificer was out at the time, would Taliesin have played an Artificer? I don't know.
I don't know, because he was mostly, I think he just wanted to play Warlock with a gun.
Right?
Because of the whole, I forgot, what's the demon, is the hate demon's name?
Steve. I don't know.
Or yeah, Steve.
Doesn't matter.
I think he was more so trying to do that.
It does.
Maybe. And then eventually it morphed into Gunman.
It'd actually be really easy to reflave Warlock as Gunlock. Like Eldritch Blast is just your gun, and then your 2 spell slots are like magic grenades.
Yeah. What if you're like, you know what? My Rod of the Pack Keeper is just slightly shaped and bent into a pistol form.
Yeah, that'd be really easy.
When you said Gunlock, my brain immediately went to that fucking dipshit loser in Sword Art Online named Death Gun.
Death Gun? No, there's not a character named Death Gun.
You don't know that Death Gun?
No, I stopped watching Sword Art after Alfheim bullshit.
He's literally a simp who loves the blue-haired character in Sword Art and does bad things to the No Square when he doesn't get his way.
Is he another simp that got unjustified victory?
No.
Okay,
It goes. He's like kind of interesting, except it's not, because they spoil it in episode 2 who it actually is. If you can read Japanese, which means every Japanese person in the world knew who it was.
Just looked at that and knew who that was. Yeah.
And then he loses and goes, "I'm going to do the bad thing to the No Square," and you go, "Why? Why are you fucking like this, you goober?" Yeah, hold on.
I see.
Yeah, here you go. Good old Death Gun.
They couldn't have come up with a better. Jesus, he's so.
Fuck.
Oh wow, that's not what I was expecting him to look like. Oh, and he's just got a glicky.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the Gun Gale season. Yeah, that's his face.
Oh my fucking
dork.
god.
Yeah.
So wait, who is he? What's his face from Sword Art? Like the original game?
No, he's not that guy. He's just a simp. He's just another guy.
Well, you
just
said
a dude.
Oh, well, you said who he was is like a reveal.
Yeah, because he's the character Shion's like childhood friend. He's one of like Shion's friends. And then he was like, "I loved you the whole time, and you ignored me, so I'm going to do the bad thing to the No Square." You're like, "Oh, great."
Got it. He's that kind of simp.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all wrapped in bandages too.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. He's such an edge queen.
Let's see.
You know what sucks too is with a certain kind of character, he could have been really cool. Like they could have really played into his edge and made him so fucking sick.
He could have
made
him like Skull Knight.
Snake Eyes or something, like where he doesn't talk, he just gestures, tilts his head, but then does badass shit. It would have been the coolest character.
Yeah. You should listen. If you can find a clip of him saying his own name out loud in the English dub, it is. I think it's Patrick Seats doing the voice. Oh. So just imagine him being like, "I am Death Gun," and you're like, "No, no." It's like that bit in Ultraman season 1 for the Netflix show, where the guy's like, "You'll never be able to beat me, the galaxy's greatest assassin," and that literal pause for effect, and he goes, "Ace Killer," and you're like, "No,
oh my god,
no, that's not your name." No,
that's amazing.
You were so cool until you said that.
I love that.
It's like a kid jumping on front of his desk. That's my cool guy. And you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Get
down,
look,
Jeremy. I'm just saying, if you're gonna make your edgelord characters that just are like this deep into the edge, they need to be Skull Knight. Otherwise, I'm not having the conversation.
Yeah.
Skull Knight's the only version of this edge I accept anymore.
I think the thing about Skull Knight too, right, is like, if you were to ask him, he's like, "Do you think you're cool, Skull Knight?" And he's like, "No, God, no. What the fuck makes you think I enjoy any of this?
My life is hell."
Yeah. So that's basically it, right? You need like the ultimate self-depreciating edge queen to make them good. You need a magnificent bastard or a self-depreciating edge queen.
Those are
I will hear nothing else.
Those are the two genders.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I got on my list. Hephaestus came up a couple of times when I was searching.
Yeah, Hephaestus is like, I mean, Hephaestus is like, he's
the first.
Yeah, he's the first. Like,
crafter.
I'm not really good. I thought about using him, but I'm like, I don't know. I can't really point to immediate. Although in hindsight,
who made Archimedes?
I don't know.
The like robotic owl, the machine owl.
Probably.
Was that Hephaestus or was that Daedalus? Because honestly, I think Daedalus is more of a
Daedalus?
artificer.
Yeah, maybe.
Daedalus doesn't. Daedalus is just like a dude, though.
Yeah, but he made like the wings of Icarus. Like he's like a.
He's smart. Yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
he is
but
more
the
of an
wings.
inventor.
Okay, but smart is not the only criteria here.
Well, Hephaestus made Hephaestus made magic items.
Hephaestus
Daedalus
literally
made tech.
Well, no, Daedalus just made like stuff. Like he didn't really make tech. Like the wings are just some wood and some wax.
Yeah,
you know, and like he built a labyrinth. Daedalus is an architect. He's not like he's not an engineer. He's an architect. But Hephaestus made literal fucking bronze automatons.
Yeah,
like Hephaestus made robots in Greek mythology. To maybe bang, but mostly to be his servants. They were all hot ladies for some reason. Do with that what you want. So like Hephaestus, I think works. I don't know about Daedalus so much.
Let's see. And my 3 wild cards over here, all of them come from the same kind of idea of cartoon mad scientists. We have Professor Farnsworth. Doofenshmirtz was one of them.
I knew he was gonna say Doofenshmirtz.
And Rick Sanchez.
Yeah, Rick, I've heard. Who the fuck is Professor Farnsworth?
The professor from Futurama.
Oh.
You know, the good news, everyone. Like that guy.
Okay, again, though, I feel like just being smart guy who makes stuff is a little too loose on the definition here.
Yeah, but they make like wild fucking shit.
Yeah, but they
that
also,
you can,
I feel like they also have to be D&D. Like, okay, here's my thing.
You can play Professor Farnsworth in D&D. Just be an old man.
The old man's gonna go out and kill monsters and fight.
It's like, I cast Firebolt.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What happens when you run out of spell slots, Farnsworth? You're gonna have to hit something with a sword at some point, bud. And what happens when the big monster hits you with a sword? You die. Yep. My point is when we're doing the D&D represented characters, I feel like they have to be physically capable to a certain fucking degree here. Doofenshmirtz is not gonna 1v1 a Baylor. It's just not happening.
Not with that kind of attitude.
Let me know how that goes. I'm pretty sure Doofenshmirtz has like 10 HP at max.
Like, behold, my Balorinator. He's just like,
yeah, and then the Balor punches him in the balls and he dies.
I mean, I know the answer to this one, but I guess, have you guys ever played the class before?
No, sir. I dabbled just a little bit, if you believe it.
It's a smidge.
Isaiah's played an Artificer for almost 80 sessions straight at this point.
Yep.
Nice.
From on top of the other Artificers I've played.
Yeah.
Like, I've played 5 Artificers total.
Jesus.
Yeah, because Ilias, and then the other Ilias, because there was 2 of them, and for 2 separate campaigns. They were built differently. There was the mask maker I made, who made magic masks, and so it's 4. Yeah, with Jenga.
I've played 0.
Nice. Same.
Yep. Never touched Artificer.
I was going to play a Kobold Alchemist, and then for like a one shot, and then just never happened. Yeah. I mean, it was a level 3 one shot.
I don't even know. I feel like I would also need a campaign where I feel like Artificer would work. I don't know that I would throw Artificer like if I had an Artificer idea, like a character idea, I don't know that I would just toss it into any old campaign. I would need to feel like it.
Well, see, that's the thing. The Alchemist, I feel like, could fit
better
better than the other ones in any kind of campaign. Like, it's weird that the magic suit of armor, unless you're like, this was armor handed down to me by my forefathers and I learned the craft. Like if you're playing like a dwarf and you're
you could justify
your battle armor is fucking stone or some shit.
Yeah. The gun and the robo dog though, those are a little tougher.
Those are going to be a little harder.
Like definitely if I'm playing Eberron, I'm definitely going Artificer for sure.
Yeah.
Like no questions asked. But yeah, no. I don't know. In terms of list, like in terms of 5e classes that I want to play, Artificer is pretty low on the list.
Oof.
Overall.
That hurts me.
Like, I still
I think it's the only.
In terms of things that are like next on my list, it's really a fight between Druid and Wizard. So, you know.
Yeah, I think it's been the only one I haven't played.
It's been
Because
nice.
I think I've at least played every class once.
Must be nice to have other people actually run 5e for you. Wonder what that's like.
Oh, fuck. One day,
man out
one
here
day,
like couldn't be me.
Yeah. I still want to run that level 20 with you guys at some point. I actually just need to sit down and set it up. Stop being lazy.
Oh my god, I just
What?
I was just thinking about the fucking that just couldn't be me thing. It just oh my god. It's funny because I'm feeling that right now, but like not in the same way because I have really weird niche games that I want to play and then no one will run for me.
Just see
as?
just join a random roll
like
20
a
game,
beam
man.
saber.
I don't think Beam Saber's niche.
Look,
What?
as much okay, here's my thing. This is Isaiah about to rant about Mecha for 2 seconds.
Is Big Robot
much-
niche?
Yeah, I think so. Because a lot of people think Big Robot equals like brainless gun porn, which is not the fucking case. Like Big Robot is often only the medium / conduit to which all the really spicy melodrama and character building comes to.
Yeah. Big Robot shows aren't actually about the big robots.
Exactly. Never. Literally
Because
never. But people don't realize that or don't believe it based on the very, very little that they've actually seen.
Well, because the big robots are just the guns.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that a military movie isn't about the AK-47s. The big robot show is not actually about the robots.
Yeah.
In the same way that superheroes aren't actually about the superpowers. In fact, the least interesting thing about superheroes is their stupid list of superpowers. That's why when the list gets longer and longer, people get more and more annoyed.
Yeah.
Because that's not the fucking point.
I mean, let's put it this way, right? Despite the fact that Armored Core 6 is like the most well-selling Armored Core game in all of in its history, and it's sold more copies in the first fucking month than others have in their entire lifespan, the only people who have Armored Core that I know are my friend Cade and Sam. That's it.
Yeah.
So the fact that so few people are willing to play a video game, which requires no preparation,
Less work. Yeah.
the fact that no one will run me funny robot RPG, I think it says something about how niche it actually is.
Okay, man. I think if you just look for groups on Roll20 or like in other Discord servers of people, like they have looking for groups channels. If you just post in there and be like, hey, I'm looking to join a group for this Beam Saber game. Anybody know anything? You'll get some results, and unfortunately, it'll be with randos. But
That's kind of the thing, is like I don't mind playing with randos, but I also don't prefer, I'd rather play a funny robot game with friends.
yeah, but then that you gotta either convince somebody to run it or you have to run it.
Well,
I'm probably gonna just run it my damn self, unfortunately.
I mean, a lot of the problem too is just. Well, okay. We specifically as a group have a kind of weird problem that other people. Most of the time, the problem people have is I don't have any friends who are into tabletop, so I don't have anyone to play with. We have the opposite problem where we have too many friends who are way too into tabletop, so everybody's trying to run games all the time, and so nobody has the time because everybody's already in a game or running a game already, right? That's the problem we have.
This is true. This is
right,
yeah.
because the three of us have a in terms of potential players, we have a wide selection, but everybody's already running something or already in something or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they want to run a different game, like they're trying to run something else. And I say it's like I want to run funny robot game, and then somebody else is like, yeah, but I'm really out here trying to run Cyberpunk, and then I'm over here like, yeah, I'm out here trying to run like Worlds Without Number, and then it's like a whole thing,
Yeah.
So
I just want to play funny robot game.
I know you do. Although I do think it's worth pointing out that I think you'll get I still think you'll get a pretty valid amount of satisfaction out of running funny robot game because you still get the whole like political drama of it all from the GM seat.
True. Look, I do. And I think I've said this. I was talking to Ant about this. I've just given up on using his screen name. But I've spoken to him about this, where it's like, I was like, I bet I could get most of my current party to play in Beam Saber, because no one in my party gives a single solitary fuck about post-apocalypse, but I managed to get that to work. And I feel like Funny Robot is not that far off. And once I hit them with the sweet, sweet character drama, they'll be like, you know what? I could play a Funny Robot game. Funny robots are funny.
Me like it.
It's all fun and games until, like, you do a mission really well and everything's great, and then someone gets nailed right in the cockpit and explodes, and you have to watch in, like, terrifying slow motion as someone they've grown to love over 20 sessions dies horribly in a ball of fire.
Yeah, but wait, does Beam Saber, does everybody orgasm when the mech transforms like in Aquarium?
No, they do not do that like an Aquarium.
Damn it!
Why are you gonna
Where's the point?
Why are you throwing me under the bus like this? Why would you mention one of my favorite manga anime being the sole part of my cringe self?
I haven't seen the second season or series.
This has nothing to do with Aquarion, but Isaiah talking about people dying in slow-mo, and I just thought about Amuro and Shara. Just, your mother? that's what I thought of.
I loved her so much, she could have been a mother to me.
A mother? Blah!
What? Fucking
Nick fucking dies.
Horribly in a ball of light, yeah. Yeah, but yes, honestly, Matt, oh god, my chair just almost broke on me again. God damn it did it twice. I'm sorry if you have to hear that in the audio. But yes, as someone who's watched both series of Aquarion, you know, the Finnakum every time they do the transformation gets really annoying.
I bet
really quick.
Yeah, I don't see that being fun for very long.
I just thought it was funny every time.
Here's the thing. It goes from like, you know, entertaining and like fan service. I remember 2006. I remember.
Yeah.
To eventually being
funny.
Like, geez, just get the fuck on with it.
Yeah. And then it's funny because you're like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be every time, isn't it? And then by episode 10, you're like, okay, I get it. Can you just please punch him with the cool infinity punch? Can you do the cool,
just
do the thing?
The robot, please.
Do the thing, Zuli. Yeah. The second series was also very good, and I think it did the love element way better than season 1. There is actually like a massive romance subplot in Aquarion. It's not even the subplot. It's the plot, really.
I was about to say, isn't it like the main thing?
Yeah, and they did it even better, and I actually grew to like the second season characters arguably more than the first. Aquarion, good show, despite it being nothing but really needless, egregious fan service at times.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Artificer.
Yeah.
This is going to be the clip. This is going to be the episode clip. Bet fucking money.
I mean, I may or may not have had that thought.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Robot, just version of Artificer, really.
True.
Yeah, if you think about it.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I literally said it, right? I was like, if Django dies, I'm going to make a gnome who's going to like repurpose Django's body into a mech suit. And then fucking everybody was like, that's like really fucked up on a moral level. And I was like, yeah, but it'd be really funny though.
Will he still be armor, or would he be a different class?
I don't know what it would be. I think I played around. It's like your character dies and then you just scribble Junior on the character.
Oh,
yeah, it has that energy.
Yeah. What was that one post where it's like the dude was DMing for his 8-year-old brother, and his brother died within like the first 10 minutes, and then he scribbled Junior on the character sheet and was like, I will get revenge from my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy I want at my table.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know, Matt. Take us somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you say a favorite subclass, Matt?
Yeah, Artillers.
Oh.
Yeah, I like. I love the idea of the Eldritch Cannon. Like, I think it's like, Like I like the idea that it gives you options, and then like you were saying, like as you level up, you get more options for it. Unlike the fucking alchemist.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like, so you can have it like it could be either like a medium-sized cannon that you just place on the ground, or sorry, a small-sized cannon you place on the ground or wherever, or it could be a tiny object that you hold in your hand. So it can be a gun or a wrist gauntlet if you want to, Star-Lord it or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It could be a flamethrower, the fucking force ballista, which is like Eldritch Blast, or energy shield, which is cool.
Yeah, I find it. I don't know. I feel like they were almost afraid. Like the Eldritch Cannon is obviously the evolution of the Thunder Cannon, right? But
yeah,
it does feel a little weird. It's like they were afraid to just make it like a cool magic rifle thing, because that's what the Thunder Cannon was, right? It was like it was like a magical rifle.
Yeah, it was a magic rifle that you load. Like you had a bag that made
bullets,
magic bullets, and you loaded the bullets into the gun and you fired them.
But they were like scared to do that. I don't know.
But then they have the arcane firearm, which is like I can turn a stick or a staff or a wand,
right?
And it basically is a gun.
A gun, yeah.
That felt like the biggest fucking cop out for me.
Yeah.
It's like, but you get gun wands. I'm like, literally, who the fuck cares? Give me a revolver.
I like gun wands.
I want a fucking matchlock rifle. I don't want gun wand.
I don't even want a revolver. I want like a flintlock weapon.
Yeah. So I want the fucking break barrel hunter's pistol from Bloodborne.
Yeah, like a break barrel. Yeah. I don't know. I will say my problem with the thing about a gun wand is visually in my head, gun wand just doesn't
look goofy as fuck.
Yeah, it just looks goofy.
Well, I first discovered it because Acquisition Incorporated, the wizard of the group, he literally dual wielded gun wands, and that was his thing. And I was like, oh, but Ack Inc., it's goofy as fuck. So I was like, this is why I like it.
Like, because
in a serious setting, like it'll look kind of funny, where it's like you literally look like a child.
If you look up Eberron pictures of arcane, like they have some art where characters are wielding arcane firearms, and they just look kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like,
or like some of them, like the Matt Mercer cat person that literally is just holding a wand gun.
I haven't seen that one specifically.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, gun wand. I also don't really like, in terms of wizard stuff, though, like Wizard, the class, not the company. That one. Yeah, I don't like. I'm thinking of that one.
So the one you posted is Vi. That's Jeremy Crawford's character.
Yeah, I don't know. That gun wand looks goofy to me.
It's overly detailed and
then the one who looks like a cowboy that's just holding a wand, like a normal wand.
Just holding a normal wand. Yeah, it's
not it.
Nah, ain't it, Chief?
Although I don't hate this kind of vibe is alright, but this is a different thing. Never mind.
I mean, like, here's the thing. This is a weird thing, right? It's like, there is a very specific, like, I don't know how am I gonna word this without sounding like a dipshit? I've said that word like 6 times this podcast. If you think about a gun, right? Like, if you think about a sword, I don't know if anyone else does this, but when you're playing a character, you kind of want to like feel there's like a gravity, a like weight to like your character doing something, you know? Like shit, when I often just have like props around me while I'm DMing, to just help like sell the like feel of something.
Right.
A gun has like weight, right? There's like a heft, a like solid feeling.
Not just a stick.
Yeah.
It's not just a stick. Like you can't. It's not the same. Honestly, if you wanted to do a gun wand, right? What you would do, you'd take like a wheel lock gun, which had the like, it looked very wand-like, and where the lock mechanism, you want like a crystal or some shit. That's something I could deal with.
I have seen people do that. I have seen art that's basically that vibe that you're saying. There's like magical shit around the wheel lock part.
Yeah, or you've probably seen this thing, because this is all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen that where exactly. It's like you put
Yeah,
put
I'm
a
not crazy
crystal
about
in
that
there.
look.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
seen
not
that.
either, but-
I'm like on it.
Right.
But like, yeah. There's ways to go. I don't know. It's also, is it that weird to like assume that characters in the universe of like the Forgotten Realms, even that they would make like a wheel-lock style weapon, but with a magical wand that fires from the barrel? Like that seems pretty like a logical conclusion. So it's not that out of place. Like
it really is the great equalizer, right? It's like not everyone can learn magic, but people are just born better magic users in Forgotten Realms. And not everyone can use a sword, and not everyone is strong enough to use a bow. So like the gun just sort of makes sense.
In the same way that guns in real life were designed for that purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Wizards scared. I will say though, they're putting the modern firearms stuff. They are putting that into the player's handbook for the 2024 re-release. So,
which that's nice.
They're acknowledging it somewhat.
Yeah.
I feel like part of it too is Wizards. Some people at Wizards want to try and hold on to the older school vibe that like D&D used to have, and I think at a certain point you got to accept that 5e is much more everything fantasy soup than D&D used to be.
I've noticed that, and I have a weird thing about that, right? Where it's like, I'm sort of in the camp of like, pick a side, right? Because you're, on one end, you have like Leonin and Satyrs, and it's like, well, they're technically setting specific, but there is no rule that says that you can't do them in Forgotten Realms like module books. So on some level, you are accepting that these things typically do not exist in this setting, but fuck it, it's whatever the players want. But then it's like,
it literally says
guns,
it in
well, it
seems like
says
a step too far. Like,
it says it in the books they come from that they are setting specific.
Yes, but there's nothing enforcing that.
No.
Well,
Well,
no rule that says
well,
you
they
can't
do tell
it.
you. Well, there's. I mean, it depends on
There's
what you
certain
mean.
things
They do
that
tell
they've
you
been
don't play
making-
these outside of like Theros.
Yeah, well, there are
It does
certain
say
things
that.
like a lot of the new feats now. They specifically tell you like only characters from
Only
this
in
setting,
this
like
area,
what they did
yeah.
with Dragonlance and the Spelljammer and shit. Although again, another thing I really love about the Eberron book, they have a whole section after they talk about the races of Eberron where they're like, listen, man, they're like, D&D 5e, there's so many more races that are out there like Kenku that aren't normally in Eberron. Just throw them in. Figure out your own lore. This game is all about imagination. And then he gives you his website, Keith Baker, and he has been writing blogs about like how to make like work with 5e, how to integrate certain races and shit, and like update the game and do all this like awesome stuff. If you're running currently an Eberron game in 5e and you want to use like a Leonin or whatever the fuck, like he'll do it. And he's, again, he wrote the fucking world. So if anyone can figure out like how to make your life as a GM easier for running Eberron games, it's fucking Keith Baker, the guy that wrote the fucking setting.
I just want the Van Helsing fully automatic crossbow. Is that too much to ask for?
I'm gonna be 100 with you, Matt. I have no fucking clue how your train of thought took you to that place based on what Isaiah just said. But okay. This is just another.
We're gonna label
example.
these as Matt-isms. You just gotta play along.
it
Josh,
is.
just pay
Matt-isms.
attention. Jeez.
No, okay.
God.
Instead of a tangent, it's a tan mat. I don't know. I'll have to workshop this one.
No,
But a
you gotta
mat,
use Matt's. You gotta use Matt's stupid naming convention. It's a mangent.
a mangent. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. A mangent is when Matt goes on a tangent based off a singular word that you just said in a long string of sentences, and Matt thinks it's related to what you just said, but it's really not.
I think it is related, Josh. I think it is. I think
you
you
know
just,
what?
just
It's
need to
funny.
pay attention a little bit.
Yeah, I often find myself on the direction of hold on, let him cook, even if I know it doesn't make any sense. I just want to see where he goes.
I'll circle back around at some point.
You don't though.
You did
Very often
you
you don't bring it back around. I just want to see how far he goes.
Sounds like gaslighting to me. I don't know if I believe you.
No, Matt. I don't do that.
Point being, sure, yes, what Matt said isn't incorrect. That yes, the guy who wrote Eberron setting has lots of useful information for you to run the Eberron setting. Going back to what Isaiah was saying, though, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're sort of picking. Listen, I get it. Personally, I don't like Forgotten Realms because its fantasy setting is just, as I said, the jungle juice of fantasy. They just
the generic
throw everything
fantasy
in.
land.
Well, it's not even generic. No, because generic fantasy is like Tolkien. Forgotten Realms is Tolkien and Marvel and Magic the Gathering and also
That's
kind of
what
DC
I mean by
and like it's
yeah.
not generic. It's we're just throwing everything into the soup.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much crap that
The
they
hodgepodge.
a hodgepodge is that's a better word. Hodgepodge. So it's like I'm not a fan of that, but I think Wizards of the Coast, y'all gotta kind of accept that that's the thing you made.
I think they have, because they've mentioned they've known multiple times that people, again, like Chris Perkins has said, people, when a new book comes out, people rip like pages out of the book, they slap it in their homebrew world, and they go. Most people who play 5e run homebrew campaigns in their own worlds.
Yes,
and they take ideas from their other books.
But then why, if they're accepting it, then why are they afraid to give us guns? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
that's what I mean.
Like the thing they have, literally Bigsby, the Bigby book. There's one new gun, but they are giving guns.
But like weird magic, giant, ancient,
Look,
giant magic
I'm not
item.
Gonna sugarcoat it. There is no excuse.
Well, but when I say, I want guns, I don't want ancient, giant magic item. Like I want flintlock pistols to be around. I want a flintlock rifle or a break barrel rifle. Maybe, if we're getting fucking wild, maybe like a Winchester repeater. Maybe, but that's like I can understand if you're not down with that. That might be a step too far. Fine.
Yeah. Well, again, if they're gonna add it into the player's handbook as regular weapons and with the weapon options and stuff, it'll make it more normalized.
More normalized.
So people will be able to use it in their their fantasy games, and you can have Gimli with a fucking Gatling gun or whatever,
but
and be okay with it.
Give me my inventor class.
Yeah.
Give me more classes.
I think it's completely reasonable to have a crank Gatling in a fantasy setting.
Or shit. You know what? I'll split the difference. Give me an inventor artificer subclass that leans more into that. I'll take that. But
Right,
also,
shit,
yes, crank machine gun is,
I'm just thinking about so the Japanese were not the only ones to do this, but the Japanese very specifically had the triple barrel rotating Teganshima that you had to you fired, rotated the barrel, fired again. That is by definition a repeating pistol, right? It is a pistol that repeats its action.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just you just have to know what you're talking about. My Sicilian's coming out.
And also shit like the ancient Chinese weapon, the Hiwacha.
Hiwacha, I love that.
Yeah, there's precedent for crazy artillery.
I love the idea of someone being like, "Oh wait, it's Winter's Crest. Get me the fireworks." Fireworks? We're making a Hiwacha.
The Hiwacha.
What is that? Just let him cook. Let him cook. It'll work.
Does black powder and fireworks exist in the Forgotten Realms?
It has to, because they talk about ships having cannons.
Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah, what the fuck?
And there is a firework spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to at least know what a firework is to create a replicate spell of the effect.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like,
there is no excuse. And if you say that there is, you're wrong.
the more we think about it, the more we think about it, the more we go, yeah, wait, there is no excuse.
Yeah. And then again, in the DMG, there are grenades, TNT, black powder. In Waterdeep Dragon Heist, there is a magic item called smoke powder, which basically functions exactly as black powder.
There's a
for guns.
There's a character in Waterdeep Dragon Heist called
With
the
guns.
Drow Gunslinger.
Yeah, and he has guns.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that, so you just brought it up. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, he has like poison pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they're wheel lock pistols.
Yep.
Oh, so we're just at wheel lock. All right.
I'm
cool.
pretty sure from the art, if I remember correctly, they're
Hold
wheel
on.
lock pistols. Although I guess
Drow.
I guess there is some of that, like, I don't know, Isaiah, you would know this better. How long, like, because one of the questions that always comes up with guns is like, well, you couldn't reload them fast enough given the speed of fights in D&D. Like, 6 seconds to a round, you couldn't reload the guns fast enough. I mean, is that the case with wheel lock? I don't even know.
So, I think I believe Fast Estimates put a proficient rifleman at firing 3 rounds a minute. Takes you about 20 seconds to reload a typical like flintlock weapon. However, that is when you were specifically doing like powder, perch, ball, ramrod. Later on, you had cartridges, like paper ones.
Right.
This was like towards the end of the flintlock era, where you had your powder, perch, and ball in a paper cartridge, and then you loaded it into the weapon, and you used a percussion cap, which was a little cap with spark powder in it that would set the fuse off. Those you could fire 10 a minute, like, because you just, took it down the barrel, you put it in the tip of the barrel, smack the bitch down, put the cap in, fire, and you were good. So, yeah, there is a precedent for
10
it,
a
for
minute,
sure.
but like how long would it take to reload?
Well, 10 a minute, so it's about 6 seconds per reload.
Oh.
Assuming you had like a bandolier.
So an action.
Yeah.
So you fire 1 round, next round reload,
Right.
secondary.
yeah.
Wait, isn't that how the gunsmith works? The Matt Mercer one?
No.
Well,
no,
the
it's
Mercer
after
one
your
has
clip
pepper
is
boxes
empty
or
and then-
repeaters and shit. So you've got like,
Those
a
have
couple rounds before.
almost like 6-shooter style cartridge.
Yeah.
The pepper box is
That's the image of the Drow Gunslinger.
Oh, I love that. I use that art in a couple of my
I don't-
games.
It's kind of hard to tell what the gun is there, but I mean,
it looks like a flintlock.
a flintlock of some kind, yeah. So maybe not a wheel lock, but
No, but you know what it is funny too is like D&D has magic, so there's literally nothing that says my gun can't magically reload itself.
Reload
You've got
itself.
like magic repeater crossbows and shit.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of the few things that I get genuinely hung up on because, again, I just want to play Bloodborne Hunter, and I constantly see posts online being like, "But my setting," and it's like, "Yeah, your setting survives, dude. You're good."
yeah, it is a weird thing that people draw a line on, huh? I don't.
Yeah, I was in a game where the fucking dungeon master cock blocked me for a year on getting the gun that my character was like based around. Because it didn't fit my setting. So like, and me arguing constantly being like, no, but it does though. It literally does though. Like why is this difficult?
What even are the earliest guns on record?
Hand cannons. It was the tube on a stick.
Right. So like, well, okay. So what? Well, let's say we don't count those. What even would be like the first kind of single shot
matchlock guns.
Matchlock? Yeah. What?
Matchlock's shit. The fucking
1300s or some shit, right?
Yeah, earlier than that. You're looking like.
Because like. Because the rent. I mean, okay. I guess really, you know what it comes down to. The reason that people get a well, I don't know if people are thinking about it this deeply, but I think this is one of those things that's in the back of your head without realizing it. Because, the Renaissance era, we really started to get, like, flintlock stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And people assume that D&D is more Dark Ages, which is right before the Renaissance, and I think that's the thing that makes people think, oh, so no guns.
Yeah, I mean,
think
it's
that's
weird,
what it
right?
is.
Because like, oh, D&D is supposed to be medieval, except you've got all pictures of plate armor are like 16th century, super intricate,
They're not
detailed
dark.
plate armor.
They're not Dark Age armor.
Rapiers are a weapon that exists. All of the like duelist character look like French duelists from like the 1600s.
Century, yeah.
Yeah, so like it
15th century.
Yeah, so like it really do be like whatever the fuck you want it to be, right? Like,
Because the Renaissance started roughly 14.
the Renaissance is like 1460, and the first ever matchlock guns. I didn't actually remember this exactly, but the earliest matchlock guns were about as soon as 1394.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Which would line up with when people want D.
Perfectly, yes. And you could have a 6-barrel hand-rotated like gun. It'd basically be a pepper box, except you have to hand crank the thing to the next barrel. And a matchlock gun, from what the name describes, is just a really long cannon, like wick match, and you just slowly sort of feed the match through a little like fork on the hammer. Shit, that could be an interesting like inventory management thing where it's like how many like feet of match do you have? Of like match rope do you have? I don't know. That'd be something I wouldn't mind like thinking about.
Okay, so yeah, Renaissance started 14th century, so 1500s.
And the earliest
And
like
then
guns were about 1394.
13, yeah. So I mean, yeah, you could pretty easily, yeah. And it's funny too, because the section of the guns in the DMG, they specifically call them Renaissance era weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
This is just becoming, should guns be in D&D?
That is what this, I mean, well, because it always comes up with the Artificer, right? Like, this is a thing. So I'm not surprised
True.
that this is where we're at. But like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It ain't that egregious, fam.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't want to like commandeer, but
Side note, there's also alien guns in the DMG.
yeah, the fucking clown ray guns, yeah.
No. There's alien ray guns in the DMG.
Oh yeah.
In that same section, there's an antimatter rifle, a laser pistol, and a laser rifle.
The antimatter rifle.
I mean, obviously they tell you, don't use these unless you're.
Don't give your players an anti-fucking.
Well, they say like don't use these unless you're prepared for the the nonsense.
Yeah.
Like agree that with each other you're gonna because they have Renaissance items, modern items, and then futuristic.
Right.
Yeah, the antimatter rifle does 68 necrotic damage.
I forgot what adventure I was reading recently, but it was like, here you can find a ray gun or whatever, and then the ray gun's actually in the DMG.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
here
laser
your
pistol.
players can find a ray gun. It only has like 7 bullets or 7 canisters, whatever, ammo.
Meanwhile, and then the clowns in Spelljammer, it specifically says that the clowns' guns only work for the clowns.
For them, yeah.
Such a bullshit cop.
Yeah, they did that with a lot because there's also the astral elves, and they do a fuck ton of damage.
Well,
But
they
it's
do
always
they do like extra. Here's the thing: I'm okay with like the extra radiant damage that the sun elves do comes from their like innate magic. That's fine. But the guns on the clowns, it literally just says the guns don't work for anyone else, like they're fucking orcs.
right. Like if they're
sorry,
armed
like they're
with
40k
guns-
orcs, not D&D,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like they're 40k orcs.
Yeah.
I had to specify that. What were you gonna say before, Isaac?
Oh, yeah. So I think it's funny, right? Because, like, you know, this is the Artificer episode, and I think that there are, like, certainly things that I want to talk about with the Artificer, just, like, playing it experientially.
Yeah, because you've had 20 levels of experience at playing an Artificer. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
more
and
than that,
was
if you
it
add
been
them
like-
all up.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
True, yeah, actually.
Yeah, I think there are some things that I think are really interesting, like choosing some of the spells that you get, and like the way that like for example, right? You don't get prestidigitation; you get the like magical tinkering thing, which is just prestidigitation, but like worse.
More steps.
Yeah, more steps, and it's like worse. And like that's fine. It doesn't have to be as good as prestidigitation, but there's things where it's like there were definitely times where I wanted to use it more, but I was like, it don't do, you know, it doesn't do the thing that like I want. And I don't know why they didn't give him prestidigitation. It's not really a complaint more than just like a strange observation I've had. Because to me, I feel like prestidigitation is a like quintessential Artificer thing, you know? Like specifically, it's like one of the prestidigitation things, you can create a like trinket in your hand. It can be anything, and it's physically real. It's like malleable. And to me, it's like I would think of something like, you know, the doctor doing like scalpel, forceps, you know, shit like that. Or like, you know, the Artificer snaps his fingers and like makes a screwdriver and starts doing shit like that. I wonder why that like. Or I guess, not that I wonder why, but it is something where it's like I want to know what their idea for magical tinkering was, because it doesn't seem to line up with what I think it should be, you know?
I think they were trying to make Artificer feel a little bit different, which is why they gave them that ability. You know, like I think they wanted them to, especially because it's an ability and not a cantrip, right? So it's like a built into the Artificer thing as opposed to a wizard who has to like take it as a spell.
Yeah. I mean, it also
I think they were trying
very...
to just make it feel different, but they did restrict it a little bit more, which is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
I know a lot of people are saying that it's more to be used with like your partners and your other like party members rather than like used on yourself. Which is odd because it seems it's like they're a bunch of like little effects.
Not really. I don't think there's anything about it that intrinsically makes it more for your party or anything.
Even if it was, I think something very interesting. Yes, like Artificer has a lot of support potential, but I would not call it a support class. It's a controller for sure.
I think Artificer can do a little bit of everything.
It can, yeah. But I consider it mainly a controller class. Like,
which is
all of its abilities,
Which is a support.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, here's the thing: in the Holy Trinity, your options are support, tank, damage. So, controller would fall under support.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, like, it's not support in the way that a bard is support. It like levels into that kind of stuff. But it's just not.
It doesn't give out buffs.
Huh?
You mean it doesn't give buffs?
No, it does for sure.
Yeah, so then it's support. Why would you not call it support then?
I mean, I just don't think its level 1 ability should be a support thing. I think like it's sort of a, if you can't keep yourself alive, you won't live long enough to support your allies. You know?
I don't think its level 1 ability is a support thing.
Well, but Matt was saying like arcane tinkering, it was described as something used to help your allies.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't.
No. What I was meant to say. Most people online tend to say that it's better to use it with your allies than like yourself. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, there's some things you can use it on yourself. And it's like, oh, you know, if I want a flashlight, but it's like, I could just cast light. It's like, why the fuck, you know?
I don't know why people would say that though. I don't think there's anything about the ability that's intrinsically more useful to use on your allies.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that. I don't get why people would say that. in this. I mean, it's about as useful to your allies as prestidigitation is.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we can't do an Artificer episode without talking about Atomisk, because I feel like it's not a straight up necessity to have the homunculus.
I was gonna say you should specify what he is.
Yeah, so my character Django has a homunculus infusion, which he's lovingly named Atomisk. And it could just be because RN Jesus really does like my funny little robot baby, but
this homunculus is an assassin, a killer, a destroyer of worlds. His body count is absurd.
Yeah. So for the record, my dear viewers, my homunculus as fucking servant has more kills than Brett's character. And it's not close.
I mean, we're not keeping a count, but
I think Zephyr has probably killed. It's safe to say like 25 to 30 things, like across the game.
I mean, it's probably more than that.
Do you think so?
Probably, yeah. Look, I don't know. We should have started keeping a track at some point, but Atomisk's kill count is just.
It's like
hilarious.
Around 50. It's like a lot for something that only does a D4 damage.
Here's the thing. If you actually want to, I think he does D6 now, but yeah.
No, it stays D4, unfortunately.
No, you upgraded him, remember?
Yeah, no, he doesn't do any more. So he.
Pretty sure you upgraded. I'm pretty sure I let you upgrade his damage.
No, you gave him a physical hit rather than his just purely ranged pew pew. He has like the bayonet shank.
I mean, either way. The reason, if you want to like actually be like, what the fuck? Why? The reason is because Atomisk, you know, the homunculus servant, you have attack on a bonus action. So what's happening is the creature gets low in health. Isaiah's character's an armor artificer, so he has 2 attacks. He goes punch, punch, homunculus shoot for bonus action. So what's happening is the creature he gets punch, punch. The creature has 4 HP left. The homunculus kills it and finishes him off. That's what's happening.
Well, so
like mechanically, the reason it's happening is because he's the last step of your turn every time.
Yes, the reason why he's a destroyer of worlds. But I feel like the homunculus has a lot of really good things going for it. Like it can do touch spells, which I don't believe like Find Familiar can do.
Yes, it can.
Can it do touch spells? All right. Either way, I think a part of playing Artificer is having, like, I think you can't avoid it on some level, having the fucking Final Fantasy XIV rotation of shit you can do, because you have so much shit you can do at any given time. And I know it's like, you know, not everyone wants to play meta, Isaiah, but it's like, yes, sure, I get it. But that's sort of like, it almost feels like playing a rogue and not stealthing, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, it feels like an intrinsic part of the class to just have a myriad of shit you can do, and not taking the homunculus means you have one less thing to do, or that you can do. And I just, like, in my head, I'm like, why? Why would you want to do less things? And I know why. It's because people just want to play a simpler game. Fair enough, I get it. But like...
Well, I mean, if you want to play a simpler character, don't play Artificer anyway.
That's kind of what I mean, right?
It's one of the least simple. It's arguably one of the most complicated classes.
Yes. Yes.
For no other reason than you have a fucking cadre of magic weapons. Items.
A cadre of magic items. Your level directly affects those magic items, which means you are completely different than everybody else. Your magic items can activate and deactivate. When you hit level 20, they're directly related to how many times you can get knocked down to 0 HP.
It's a similar energy as Wizard having to, you know, juggle spells.
Yeah. And it's even funnier. I sort of just talking about the homunculus at this point. When it was a class feature that like only the alchemist got the homunculus, I was like, no, fuck that. Like, that's stupid. And it used to be ridiculous. Like, it was so fucking overpowered when it was an alchemist thing.
Yeah.
Also, let me just say, I know I know that they made the homunculus servant the alchemist thing for that older playtest because, you know, in actual history, part of alchemy was making homunculuses, right? Like that was a big part of. I know. But you gotta understand that the modern interpretation of the word alchemist these days is dude who make funny potions.
Yeah.
So choosing them to be the homunculus class was a weird choice.
Yeah, and
like I get it, historically you're not wrong, but like
I think it kind of goes deeper in. They took machinist. Well, first they took the like arcane servant away, which I don't think they should have, to be honest. I think they should have just kept it. But then we got machinist, which everybody really liked because it was just build a robot, and like every level had to do with the robot. It had its own like pseudo infusions thing where it got like spring legs or like reinforced arms and shit like that. And then they got rid of that. And then you got the homunculus, which you could only get if you were an alchemist. And it like the thing with that is that it forces you to choose, right? Because it's like, do I want more stuff to do like the funny, you know, hee potion stuff? Oh wait, but I'm losing some of my level points to the alchemist or to the homunculus. I don't want that. I want to do more potions. Or inversely, well, I have this crazy powerful homunculus. Fuck this potion bullshit. Let me just make this thing a monster. You know, like it just didn't have an identity.
Yeah.
And then we got Battlesmith, which
I like.
It's okay. It's not machinist. It functions. I want like upgrade bits for the you know, your arcane, your steel defender. I still think they should have done stuff with that because that was super interesting. But you lose a few things chasing a dream.
Yeah, I don't know why they took out the upgradey aspect of it. I guess because they wanted to make a little bit of a more like melee artificer. Because Battlesmith like kind of gets in there more than the other ones.
It did, and then Armor came out.
I think though, even in comparison to Armor, I think Battlesmiths still smack harder generally.
I
think it's because of the spells they get. Like they get a lot of the smite smells.
They get the smite spells. They can also, I think, use heavy like heavy weapons.
I think so.
Like I think they could use like a maul, for example, which is more damage than your like fists as an armorer.
Don't they also add their intelligence to damage or something, or to hit? I don't remember.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that one I could be talking about.
Yeah, so yeah, the Battlesmith gets proficiency with all martial weapons. Oh yeah, when you attack with a magic weapon, you add your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dex. Instead of.
Okay, it's basically the hexblade thing.
Yeah. Armor has that too. The difference is Armor doesn't get the martial weapons. Armor has their suit weapons, but like a greatsword's gonna do more damage.
I don't know.
Plus the smite spells.
To me, the Steel Defender is the thing.
Plus the Defender.
Yeah, like to me, it feels like the Steel Defender is the thing you're going to be relying on mainly.
It like, sort of is and sort of isn't, though. Because you get the Steel Defender, but you also get Battle Ready, and you also get extra attack. Right, so like the Battlesmith is more of a melee artificer than any of the other ones are.
I don't know. I sort of thought about it like, cause can't your Defender do touch spells for you? Like, can't your Defender do the like smiting for you? Which is what I thought the whole point was. I believe
so, as the Defender acts like a ranger pet. So no, I don't think so. Bonus action to command it. You can cast Mending on it. Smite spells, Smith tools to revive it, provided. Yeah, no, you can't cast spells.
Weird, I thought it was a feature it had. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because you have the Defender to do things for you, you have less of incentive to get in, where Armor is like, well, I have this crazy high AC.
No, I think the idea of the Battlesmith is you and your Defender are fighting next to each other. You also then get Arcane Jolt when either you hit a target with a magic weapon attack or your Steel Defender hits a target. You can channel magical energy through the strike to deal an extra 2d6 force damage. Or choose one creature object you'd see within 30 feet of the target. Healing energy flows to the recipient, healing 2d6 hit points. So, like,
Okay.
you're both supposed to be in there. I
Yeah.
think the idea is you're fighting next to each other.
Fair enough.
And also, you gotta remember, I know you literally never use it, but Armorer does also have the pew pew laser hands mode,
Yeah.
which is with the lightning launchers.
Yeah, but like, look, I don't want to be the meta guy, but like, Guardian is just better. It just do better.
Well, I think Guardian is better. I think it kind of depends, because if you don't go dumping into the AC, Guardian's not necessarily better, right? Because you got to remember, you put a lot of effort into high AC. So you can stand in there and fight, whereas other artificers are not necessarily going to do that.
Fair
The lightning launcher also has the jump, where it can hit an additional target.
True.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase. I feel like Infiltrator, if it was me, right? Like if I was doing like pure power building, Infiltrator is what I would use if I was already classed into something else and I had high enough int to take a subclass in Artificer. Like a rogue using
You couldn't use sneak attack on it.
no, but the fact that the weird thing like gets rid of all disadvantage for stealth, you could be a rogue who uses medium armor and then go in, with a solid 17, 18 AC with just your armor.
You could use. Never mind. You could use sneak attack, because it counts as a simple ranged weapon.
Yeah.
Lightning. Good.
Neat.
I don't know. I think you're downplaying its potential a little bit. I don't think it's objectively worse because it's only down by one, like a single die from a D8 to a D6.
It's not just that. It's like the Thunder Gauntlets do so much for crowd control and like controlling the battlefields, and like the fact that you get more infusion slots.
Don't get more infusion slots.
Oh no, you don't. No, not infusion slots. My bad. What is the thing that it gives you?
Whether you're in Guardian or Infiltrator mode, the only thing it changes is Thunder Gauntlets versus Lightning Launcher, and then Defensive Field versus the Powered Steps and Dampening. That's it. So Thunder Gauntlets do punchy, and then impose disadvantage, and then you get the Defensive Field, which gives you temp HP. And then Lightning Launchers have a crazy range, well, not a good range, 90 feet out to 300 feet. Deal a D6, and on each of your turns, you can deal an extra D6. So 2D6, which is great sword damage. Your walking speed increases by 5, and you get advantage on stealth checks.
Yes, what I meant to say is you get the like push and pull thing. Not the infusions, my bad. I just
Push and pull thing?
I don't use it very much, but like you can force
you can pull someone near you, yeah.
Yeah, you can just control people.
I forgot what level you get that at the armor.
15.
But...
I don't use it ever, but I could.
I don't think that has anything to do with the two modes, though.
No, it does. Guardian. When a huge or smaller creature you can see ends its turn within 30 feet of you, can use your reaction to magically force a strength check or strength save. On a failed save, you pull the creature up to 25 feet into an unoccupied space. I can also melee attack it. Guardian does controller better. Infiltrator, I guess you could argue,
does potentially more damage.
Yeah.
Also, it can impose disadvantage.
Yeah, but Guardian does that at level 3 with its.
Right, but you can impose so the Guardian only does that if the person that you hit tries to attack somebody other than you. Infiltrator could just impose it on whoever's nearby. So if the monster was gonna attack you anyway, then it doesn't do anything.
No, it just gives them disadvantage against you.
But no, the Thunder Gauntlets?
No, Infiltrator, it says and it has disadvantage on attacks against you.
Right, which the Guardian can't do.
No, it does everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it controls the battlefield better.
I mean, I don't... Sure,
So, like,
this doesn't fucking matter. I don't know why I'm arguing about this.
I don't know why you are either.
All I was saying is that one is not objectively superior to the other, and you were talking like one was. And I don't think it's that cut and dry.
No, it's not. I meant better insofar as the controller aspect. One is a better controller than the other, and the Artificer already acts as a controller type. So you're just doubling down on the thing that it's already like specialized in.
I disagree with your thesis statement, but okay.
Fair enough.
I don't think Artificer is necessarily a controller.
Fair enough.
But any final thoughts, guys? As we
Artificer sucks balls, and they should take it out.
damn.
You're only saying that because I have 25 AC passively.
Gosh, I've been telling you this whole time. Cooking book, man.
What does that even
Whole
mean?
gang of bards, all casting at the same time. He can't take his skin off.
Running away.
Yes.
Because you're a Warforged, so you can't remove skin. Well, actually, he can. It just takes, I think, an hour.
Yeah.
Take the skin?
Yeah, Warforged.
Oh, not the armor, his skin.
Yes. Warforged can remove all of the metal plating off of their body.
Yeah, it takes about an hour.
But
I
it
didn't know that.
specifically describes it as an awful, painful process that they do not enjoy doing.
Yes.
But they can do it. Because the armor that a Warforged wears is part of their scheme.
Oh, I think there actually is a way out of the whole cooking book thing.
Oh, is there? Oh,
If you do the like arcane sanctum, any spell effects can't pass through it. So you just make it and walk in. You're like, that was so bad before. Now everything's nice.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I just any final thought, Isaiah?
Funny robot's cool. Give me more funny robot.
Yeah.
Put funny robot back in Artificer, you cowards.
Isaiah
Yeah, same.
It is my favorite
I want the
thing
Thunder
at the moment. And yes, I want the Thunder Cannon back too. Give me my God, how much damage is the fucking
I would
Thunder Cannon
prefer
do?
the Thunder Cannon over Funny Robot.
Like, ¿por qué no los dos?
Same. I wasn't a fan of the last season of Korra.
That's fucking bait.
That's such bait. Oh my god, that wasn't even clever. My chair broke again. That wasn't even clever bait. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Go
I can't believe you've
yourself,
done
Max.
this.
But yeah, thanks for listening to this another handbook episode. We only have a handful more, guys.
Swatting
There's only a
Matt's
couple of these more. Yeah, Josh, you want to tell the good folks what they can do after listening to said episode?
You can follow us on Twitter for the time being. Emphasis on for the time being. Because
Before Twitter implodes.
we ain't paying for that shit, dog.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'll let you know where else to find us afterward. Amau.
Yeah.
But, Lemao.
Yeah. Good to be back, guys. And thanks for listening. And, again, happy Leif Erikson Day. Inger dinger dinger.
Wait, let me leave you on this. At max level, revised Artificer could do 11d6 damage per round. And if you got to reload, if you had extra attack, which I don't know why you would at that level, but if you did, you could do 22d6 per round.
Dungeon Master, I invented this ring of action surge. No!
I have a ring of haste, Dungeon Master. I can do what I want. No, they do. They get haste.
They do get haste.
Jesus Christ.
But why bother
22d6
casting
per
haste on
round.
yourself when you have somebody else do it?
True. All right, that's it. That's me done.
Ah.
Peace out.
Later.